Not taking deposits anymore.
There we go. We are now recording.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Remind me, because I don't normally record it. And don't hesitate. Remind me, it's your deal. You paid for this. Negligent entrustment, when you rent a vehicle to a customer in a careless manner. Indra, go ahead, just rent that car. I'll put brakes on it when the guy brings the car back. And he has an accident.
Yeah.
I know it's got a bald tire on the rear, but don't worry about it. Rent it. I'll put tires on it when he comes back. He has an accident. Okay. That's negligent entrustment. Husband and wife are coming in to rent a car. They're going to use it for the weekend, and it's his birthday present from the wife to drive a fancy car. And they stopped at Applebee's, and they both had a burger and a beer. And they come in to rent your car. And they smell like beer. If you make that rental and they have an accident, that's negligent entrustment. So that's a real fine line that you got to watch. Okay. If you think that they may be under the influence, do not make that rental. But it's not your rental, it's the company's rental. So in that case, that's when you would go get somebody else and say, walk around behind this guy and tell me if you think he's sober, or is he, should we not give him a car until later? And then you make the decision to get somebody else involved. Because you don't want to be turning away everybody that has a beer before they come over. But on the other hand, if he had 7 beers, do you want to give him the Tesla? No.
Nope.
So that's one thing to think about. If somebody can't operate the vehicle. I remember one time my daughter couldn't drive. We bought her this thing where she could drive around the racetrack in a race car. But she couldn't see over the steering wheel. She was too little. So they put 2 telephone books on the seat. And I'm going, oh my God, is her insurance paid? And off she went in the race car, sitting on 2 telephone books. She had a ball. Nothing happened. But the point is, they should not have done that. That's somebody that's not that's unable to operate that vehicle. And obviously an unsafe vehicle. It's tempting to buy a car that's been damaged and then repair it because you can buy them cheap. I know you guys won't, but I got to mention it. Do not rent a car that's been damaged. You can laugh at that picture, but that guy is actually driving in that car. So even though that's not a complete list, you must be aware of the issue. This is a type of liability that is prevented through proper rental practices. And you guys, from the little bit that I've learned about your rental practices, you've got them screwed down pretty tight. And that's good. Okay, let's talk about conversion. David was training somebody yesterday that thought that they were insured for conversion. What happened, David?
I had to tell them they were not insured for conversion, and they had a fit. What? Okay. And they just assumed that their insurance would pay for theft, which is actually conversion, and loss of use if the car's in the shop for repair. And I tell them, no, neither one of them are covered.
That's the
They
stuff
couldn't believe
that
this. Why am I buying insurance if you won't pay me for a theft or a downtime while the car's in the shop? Well, your choice. I'm sorry.
to protect you from injured third-party lawsuits. That's what you're paying for your
That's it.
insurance. So conversion, what is conversion? It's when a customer rents your car, he likes it so much he doesn't want to bring it back. Or he hasn't got the money to pay you for the extra days that he kept it. That's conversion. Because you gave the customer permission to drive the car. That is what they call tacit approval to take the car. If he does not bring it back, or she doesn't bring it back, then what happens is it becomes a converted vehicle and it is not considered stolen. A stolen car is when you come in the morning and there were 5 cars left on the lot when you went home last night and there's only 4 there today. That's a stolen car. And that's your report is stolen. When a customer converts a car to their own use, that becomes an embezzlement. And that's a felony. If you report that car as stolen, the police are going to treat it as a stolen car. It's a slap on the wrist, misdemeanor. Here's your bench ticket. See you later. Pay the fine. Done. Embezzlement means here's your orange jumpsuit, and you're going to spend 3 to 5 years in jail. And me as the officer that arrested you, I'm going to get a little gold star on my file because I won an embezzlement case. So they're going to work harder on that. A good solid contract and handling your reservations will eliminate that. Be aware there is no insurance to cover conversion.
That's right. So remember that, kids. If you rent a car and it never comes back, you cannot file on your insurance for that. That's just a loss.
Now, how do we eliminate that?
Well, Tesla has GPS.
Good. And your GPS is tied to the starter? Well, you don't have a starter in a car, but you have a starter button.
We have our phones. We can see where the cars are at all times on the app,
Good.
Tesla app.
Mhm.
And can you shut off the starter button? Is there a starter button?
No, there is no starter button. It would just be with the key.
So I've never been in a Tesla, so I'm going to ask you. You just handed me a rental agreement. I signed it, and I'm going to take the Tesla. How do I make it go?
This is the car key. You touch the door to unlock it,
Yeah.
and then you scan this in the middle where the cup holders are,
Uh-huh.
and you change the gears and you go.
Now, so theoretically, when you're scanning that card, that's like a starter button.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
You can get tracking devices that'll interface with that. So that if the card does not come back, you can disengage where that key won't work.
Mhm.
So in other words, the customer takes the car, he goes to Georgia, and he says, I'm not taking this back. I like this car. They can't find me here in Georgia anyway. And you can't get a hold of the guy. You can disengage that starter so that when he puts that key in there or that card, the car will not go into gear. He won't be able to drive it. So there's something you might want to look at.
You also should check with Tesla too,
Yeah, definitely check with Tesla.
and see if there's some way that you can disengage that key.
And Tesla may already have that built into the car.
I'm sure they do.
And if they don't, you just gave them an idea to sell another option.
Yeah, I mean, with their technology, I would imagine they have it. If they
Yeah,
don't have it, it's just because they never thought of it. And they could develop that technology pretty quick.
and I will tell you what you guys are doing, and working close with Tesla like this, a lot of this stuff is gonna fall into place and they're gonna use you as a test bed. Nothing wrong with that,
Mhm.
okay? All right. Other forms of insurance, obviously you've got already your general liability. Your, I call it croak and choke when somebody comes in, or slip and fall, your threshold insurance. We got to check with your insurance company to see if you can sell personal accident coverage or supplemental liability insurance and personal effects coverage. We're going to talk about these. These are highly profitable products that you can sell as daily extras, but we got to call GMI to make sure that you can sell them. And one thing to know is that you have to have a license to sell rental car products from the state of Florida. So, and it's, I don't think it's very difficult, because every time I tell people, I think, oh yeah, we already got it. Or they say, yeah, we'll go get it. And they fill out the papers and I think they pay $100 or whatever. And they get their license to sell a rental car product. You do not want a full insurance license. You just want a license, a limited license to sell rental car products. Let's scroll down. That's the end. Any questions on insurance? I'll take that as a no.
No,
I have questions. I have questions.
Okay.
So, what is the limit and, okay, what insurance we have to have? Because I know that Amanda was talking to Eduardo,
Yep.
but I was not there. So what should we
Eduardo was
know?
supposed to sit in on our training,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
Okay, so what should we know? What's the limit? Is it right? 75,000? The limit.
What's that?
no, it depends on what, it depends on the car, the value of the car.
Okay. Well,
right. Hold on a
And-
second. Do you have your policy handy?
in the
You should
computer.
have got a policy from GMI.
Yeah, in the computer.
It's in the computer.
Yes.
Find, when we're done here today, find your policy and email David or I the Accord form, or at least the cover sheet that shows the policy limits. And then we'll go over that for you. Okay? Because we want to make sure that you realize what you're covered for. You may only be covered, you may not be covered for the full value of the vehicle in the event of a total.
No,
It may be only a portion. So that's why we got to get our hands on that.
I believe it's only 55.
And that's good, because most are only 25.
Yeah.
Okay. And the $1
The
million,
65? What's that?
she believes they have 55,000 coverage for collision and comp.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what your deductible is?
1,000.
$1,000? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find that in your computer and then just email it to David. And or we can contact GMI and we can get it, or they'll give it to us because they know we're training you. One of the goals of this manual is to help you understand the rental business. Too often, an operator misunderstands the rental industry, its products and its services from the very beginning. Many people relate the auto rental business to the cars they rent or the services they render. Many people how should I say, think that my job is just to rent cars. These are indeed facets. But what you're really doing is you're selling something. And it's called a rental day. That's the segment of time that you're charging the customer for. A rental day is a day that a car is on rent. Assuming a month has 30 days, each vehicle has the potential of 30 days available for sale. Each day that goes by with the car sitting still, you have lost a rental day. Your job is to maximize your number of rental days per vehicle. If you are getting high rates per day, but your cars are only out 15 days a month, you're losing 15 days or 180 days a year per vehicle. If you sold those only for $30 a day, that would be $5,400 at the end of the year. Multiply that times 60. I bet you got a bill you could pay with that money. So this is why it's very important to manage the days. Think about this. And David likes to use the example of shirts. We bought all these shirts and we're going to sell them. And we're going to make X amount of dollars on each one of these shirts. Those shirts are rental days. And by the end of the month, we will have sold all of those shirts. But any shirts that we didn't sell are no good, because at the end of the month, nobody wants that style anymore. It's over. All right, let's talk about advertising. In the Miami Herald, what's the middle of the middle fold of the Sunday paper? It's got a cost, I think it's around $85,000 for one insertion. What's last week's insurance or middle section of last week's Sunday newspaper? What is that worth? Nothing. You can't buy it. It's over. It's the same thing with your rental days. If a day goes by that the car is not rented, you've just lost a rental day. I'll carry it to one step farther. You're selling melons, and they only have a shelf life of 1 day. And so if you don't sell that melon today, it has no value tomorrow. It's gone. Okay, same type of thing. The significant difference between someone in the rental business and a profitable rental car company is the operator's ability to understand the concept of selling rental days and maximizing the revenue for each day. Let's start with the basics, which is an hourly day. An hourly day is the most common used rate, defined as beginning when the customer picks up the car and it ends 24 hours later. An hourly day is subject to additional fees. If the customer returns late, you charge 1/3 of the rate, which is the industry standard, or whatever you feel a late charge should be, up until you charge for the full day. It is a measure of time that you can also use to determine your weekend, weekly, and monthly rentals. In this manual, we're going to be using hourly day for all calculations. There is a calendar day. Calendar day is simply a charge for each day, for each day or portion of a day that the customer has the rental. Typically, it is used as a wholesale rate to avoid late fees and partial fees for returning late. Somewhere along the line, a Tesla repair garage is going to be contacting you for an insurance replacement. And you're going to negotiate with the insurance company for your rate. And that rate is going to be on a calendar day. Insurance companies pay on a calendar day. Basically, a calendar day means If the customer has the car on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, it doesn't matter if he picked it up in the morning or the afternoon of any of those days. If he picked it up in the morning of the 24th and he had it all day on the 24th, he had it all day on the 25th, and he brought it back at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 26th, he still pays for 3 days. So you discount that date so that it fits what the insurance companies will pay. Your common rate structure is a daily rate. The usual daily rate is based on an hourly day. While this may be called an hourly day, the minimum charge is for a full day. You don't rent these cars by the hour. Some truck rentals have a 4-hour or half-day rental period. Tesla's going to have trucks. I don't know if they're ever going to put them on the street. I haven't seen one yet, but they've been talking about it.
Mhm.
The late hourly charge usually applies when a customer has the vehicle 1 to 3 hours over a 24-hour day. Fees are generally 1/3 of the daily rate up to the whole day charge. The rate does not apply to calendar day rentals. Your
Mhm.
decision to offer grace, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay, it's okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's right. Your decision to offer a grace period is obviously up to you. The following is an example. If the customer is 59 minutes late, no charge. He
Mhm.
rolls over 1 more minute, you charge him an hour. After 59 minutes, the grace period is void and the customer will incur an hourly fee. There are no hourly rates for any options. If the customer is 1 minute late, theoretically, you could charge him for an option for an extra day. That's a good way to get a broken nose. So I would not do that, but I would wait until the 3-hour period. Weekly rates. It is common to give a discounted rate for longer rentals. Weekly rates are typically a 5 or 6 day charge. Rates can vary widely based on the competition. Who is your competition? Nobody right now. So you can set your rates either and just stay at a daily rate. And it's up to you if you want to give somebody a weekly rate. Mileage charge. I don't know if you guys are charging by the miles or you're giving the cars with unlimited miles. David and I don't like unlimited miles. We like no charge miles.
Mhm.
And insurance rentals and corporate rentals also have unlimited or no charge miles. If you use the term like you want to use your term for a booking instead of a rental, we suggest you also say no charge miles instead of unlimited. Do you have a mileage charge?
No,
Okay. So you might want to say there's no charge mile. Because unlimited miles means we can go any place. Let's go to Georgia for dinner. Let's go down to the Keys for supper. Let's do this, that. No charge miles means you're allowed to use the car within a certain radius and we won't charge you for any miles in that radius. Okay.
Mhm.
Monthly rates. There is no such thing as a monthly rate anymore. Because the month, frankly, 13 months or 12 months rather, don't add up properly. The calendar that the world is on today, you can rent a car on the 1st of February and bring it back on the end of March and you say, well, that's 2 months. Well, how come I had to pay the same for February as I did for March?
Oh, no.
So the easy thing is, if you are going to do a monthly rate, we suggest you do a 4-week rate. When customer calls and says, you know, what's your monthly rate? Sorry, sir, we don't rent by the month, but we do have a 4-week discount.
Okay.
And then you set whatever the rates. David's gonna go over quite a bit here shortly that talks about rates. Now, we've been at this about an hour. You want to take a break?
Yes,
Okay, take a break.
Thank you.
Smoke them if you got them. I'll see you in 5.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Taking a break. I,
Hey, David. You gotta unmute. There you are.
Hello. What's next? I don't even, I don't have the itinerary or the contents on the new manual.
It's the same. Nothing that we, it's all, we're gonna talk about the rental focused operator, the rental
Yeah.
operator,
Right?
and then a little word around rates.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then we go in quickly on the GDS. And then we open up with profit builders.
Well,
I should be 5 minutes, 15, 5 minutes, maybe almost 10 if they have questions, and then we're into profit builders. Okay,
okay. Mhm. And what's the number of the new manual?
5.4. We're still working on 5.4.
Okay, so 5.4 is in Dropbox, right?
Yeah, and I'm on 5.4, day 2.
I'm sorry?
We're on the one you see here on the screen
Yeah,
is 5.4, day 2.
yeah, okay.
Okay, Andrew, what's the sweatshirt say? Can't hear you. Gotta unmute. You gotta turn your mute. Lower left-hand corner. There you go. What's your sweatshirt say?
Ah, something like I'll be there in a Prosecco.
I like it.
But everybody loves this sweater. That's funny.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
So we're gonna talk about 2 types of operators. And there's a rental focused operator and there's a used car focused operator. From what I see, you guys are rental focused. Your main business is renting cars, correct? You're not a retail sales lot or anything like that.
No.
So the reason I'm asking that is we're going to talk about when a rental comes across the counter that is going a long distance or for a short period of time, you're going to manage the fleet. For instance, you've got one car that has 15,000 miles on it and one car that's got 26,000 miles on it, and somebody wants to rent it to go down to the Keys. Which one would I give them? I would give them the one with 15,000 miles on it.
Lower, yes.
Lower miles, right? So
Okay.
that the one that's got higher miles kind of sits a little bit and maybe put a short rope on it or what have you. The reason being, we want to, as a rental operator, we want to sit and look at the cars as inventory, but actually as equipment. By looking at it as equipment, it has an end date. And we determine what the car is going to be in 18 or 24 months or 12 months, what the car is going to be worth with the miles that we're going to put on it. And that helps us set up our costs. And we set it at a realistic amount that we can sell it for. So as a rental focused operator, we now have fixed monthly expenses for each vehicle as a starting point. The operator can then calculate the cost for the entire fleet and combine their expenses. Now, you know, and this is a real quick introduction to where we're headed, called profit builders. And David's going to do profit builders for us in just a moment. A word on rates. Rates are getting more robust. I don't have to talk to you guys about it because you're not a regular car rental company, and I'm sure you're not charging regular rates on these cars. How much are you charging, by the way?
Well, depends, but it's about 125 per day.
Okay. We're going to talk about rates and how you may have to go up a little bit or down a little bit. Real quick, GDS system rates will not affect you very much because you're not on the global distribution systems. You're not on Kayak or Travelocity or so on. But I do have a vendor that can put you on Kayak so that you can get reservations, and the people will come in at the airport and you just have to have them take an Uber to you. Okay.
Mhm.
And it's Express with an X, XPRESS, car rental.
Mhm.
And I'll send you their information, and they'll put you on their website, as well as another one, Cars for Rent, rental cars and kayak.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Thank you.
And so we'll get that information to you.
Okay.
Profit builders. David.
Okay. What we do in the profit builder section, guys, is we try to help you understand the necessity to set up the business to make a profit. Right?
I
Everybody.
know that sounds silly, David. I know it sounds silly, but you'd be amazed the number of people who don't do this. Sorry, David.
And I think we might bump into one today.
You never know.
Right. So the point is, we've got our cars, we've got our location, you got managers, you got all this, you got your plans to call it bookings and not rentals, and you've done all of that. Are you set up to be profitable? Who set the policies, set the rates, et cetera, to be profitable? So what we're going to take a look at is the setup to be profitable. And I want you to understand that profitability in this business should come in three parts. The first part is a profit on rates alone. And this is where you really need to be. The second would be any option sales that you might have that go on top or with the rental. That would be a second profit center. And the third profit center should be on the sale of the vehicles when you're done with them. Now you're going to turn them over to automated delivery, right? Something like that. But
Yes.
at that time, when you're transferring that vehicle from rental to delivery, all right, there is a sale of that vehicle or a title change on that vehicle. And that should be a profitable item. All right. So you don't want to lose any one of these three. All right. You want to set up that all three are profit centers. Okay, let's go to the next page and let me get my stuff in order here. You would think I would know. Let's talk about the most important part of the business. On this chart, if you take a look at the left, we put in the basic 6 classes of car. When people are looking to rent cars, they pull up these websites, they'll see these different sizes and classes. This doesn't affect you right now. On yours, you want to show the specific vehicle because they're all in the specialty class. All right. On this chart, we have the economy, the compact, the intermediate, the full size, the minivan, and the SUV. All right. And this is based on what we call the SIP class, SIPP. which is the standard industry practice and procedure. Your Teslas are not going to be on this. Like I said, they're a specialty. You can show each one individually. All right. I would caution you that you do not advertise, market, or show the year of the car. All right, I see that on Turo. That's the only place I see it in 40 years in this business. All right, you don't want to advertise the year of the car. It's a Tesla 3, a Tesla Y. Nobody knows or cares what year it is. Unless it's a huge body style change, which it's not. All right. Okay, so coming down, excuse me, we're gonna hold there. What is the item we're looking at is called target revenue. What is the target revenue? I put in a $60,000 car. How much do I want to return on that car every month? What is my revenue gonna be on a $60,000 car? What's the formula? The formula is very simple. On a $60,000 car, you want 10% of the purchase price of the car per month in revenue. Now, that took years, but I was taught that in 1965, and it holds water today. Sharp operators that are making money are on this formula. All right, so I want $6,000 on that car per month. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is rental days, as Jim just discussed. What you are selling is rental days. All right, what's the goal? How many rental days should I have on a car? The goal is 24.
Mhm.
Want 24 rental days, 80% utilization.
Mhm.
Now, that's a factor that's used in the hotel business. They call it occupancy. They use it in the airline business, the same thing, and in our business, all right? So if we take the $6,000 that we want per month on that car and divide it by 24 rental days, we get $285 a day. That's what we need
Mhm.
on a $60,000 car for 24 days. That, if you did that, that will return in 12 months, $71,820 on a $60,000 car. So basically, you paid off the car and you've got an extra $11,800 in your pocket. All right. But in this case, you bring in the 71,800, you still got the car. Let's do it again. All right. So the point of it is, I bought a $60,000 car. I want 10% per month is 6,000. If I rent it for 24 days in the month, I need $285 a day. That's simple. Now, how that's set up, and this is, I see the look on your face. This has not been done, right? What you're saying is, I want to rent Teslas, I can get 125 a day, we'll make $1 million, let's go for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you ain't gonna make it.
Oh,
Not at 125 a day, you're not gonna make it.
yeah.
Now, how this is set up to show this, this breakdown. The breakdown is you want 1/3 of your revenue for the car cost. You want 1/3 of your revenue for overhead, which is all the other costs that you have. And then 1/3 of your revenue for profit. So we're looking at a 33% profit item here. All right. Now remember, any reduction in the revenue that you're bringing in, let's say we want 6,000, any reduction you're bringing in comes out of profit. All right, because the profit is the last dollar that you will get.
Mhm.
All right, now Jim has on the screen here, let's take that same $60,000 car, 6,000 a month in the target revenue, but you're only going to get 21 rental days. If you get 21 rental days a month, you need $400 a day on that car. All right. So if this scares you, good. All right, because you have time now to start looking at this in your business. All right. Now, do you have to do this? Maybe not. We're going to get into it more. All right. But this is the way we set it up. This is the way you set up your business. 1/3 for revenue, or for car costs, 1/3 for overhead, 1/3 for profit. I'm going to pay $60,000 for a car. What's my target revenue? 10%. Divided by rental days, there's my daily rate. That is the business. That is the entire business. So once you're set up with this and you understand it, your only job is to sell rental days. That's all you have to do. And you do it through your marketing program, which I understand it seems fairly good. Now, there is one other issue or way to look at this. If you don't know what the car cost is, let's say you're leasing it, or you've done some kind of strange financing or took some private equity money and all you know is the monthly payment. If you lease a car, all you care about is the monthly payment, right?
Mhm.
If you buy a car, you only care about the monthly payment for yourself, right? If you buy a house, what do you care about? The monthly payment. All right, so if you know the monthly payment on the car, you want 3 times that for your target revenue. So now let's say that and that's going to depend on your financing. We'll get into it later. But for example, a $60,000 car should have a monthly payment of about $1,800. Do you know what your monthly payment is per car?
There are no monthly payments. We pay it off. I mean, we buy it already
Bought them outright.
for the full price.
You did what?
For the full price we bought.
You pay cash?
No, not cash.
Explain to me how they're financed then. I'm not getting it.
So we bought our cars for the full price. We are not paying no monthly fees.
You bought your car for the full price.
My
Means
boss said that
you
it's
paid
called by
cash.
cash.
You bought the cars by cash with check.
Yes, it's called,
Paid for it.
yes, cash.
Okay, so you're out and you have 24
Thank-
cars?
Mm-hmm,
24 cars?
yes,
So you have $1,400,000 outstanding,
mm-hmm,
gone.
yes,
It's in cars, right?
yes, yes,
Now, those cars depreciate every month.
yes,
That car you bought 9 months ago is not worth what you paid for it.
Mhm.
So your money is going away. All right. So when we talk about car cost, whether you paid cash or financed, it doesn't matter. There's a monthly expense
mm-hmm,
that should be covered by that first 30%. All right. Okay, so let's now so we've got that. Any questions on this? Because we're going to come back to this.
no,
Okay, now that you put out $1,440,000. Where did that money come from? I'm not prying. I'm not prying. But did that come out of your bank account? Did you take somebody else's investment? Is that money that comes in from a group of people on a partnership called private equity?
so I think it's our other company the parking lifts. Remember the first day where Junior said we have another company?
Yeah, so when you formed the company, so a lot of people then made an investment into that company, right?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, well, I'll have to just do assumptions then going forward. I'm going to assume that you're on private equity money. All right, somewhere along the line, people threw $1.4 million into your business just for the cars. I'll assume that. Okay, let's take a look at unit cost gross profit estimate. Next line, next page.
Mhm.
Any questions on this one?
No.
Okay. We're gonna see how we're gonna help you make money, because right now, I'm assuming you have not shown a profit. Is that correct?
Correct, especially this month.
You have not made money. Okay, and you will,
September, awful.
yeah, I know, but you will,
It is.
yeah, we'll work on it. Okay, let's talk about gross profit. This is the other key you need to understand, Henry. Gross profit. If you buy, and we're gonna go to my t-shirts. If you buy t-shirt for $5 and you sell it for $10, you take the cost out of the sale and that's your gross profit. So I bought a t-shirt for $5, I sold it for 10. I take the cost out of the 10 and my profit was $5, my gross profit. Now, I've got the cost of goods sold covered. The cost of goods sold was the $5. You need to know that.
Mhm.
And the gross profit was $5. You got the same thing in the car rental business or the booking business, but people don't understand it. All right. So here, what is my cost of goods sold? Your cost of goods sold is the monthly payment of the car. In your case, it's going to be depreciation or amortization. But I want to throw one thing in. These people that threw $1.4 million into your fleet want their money back. And there may be a number of ways they want it back, but I think they want to see a monthly return. And they're only going to go so far with no return before they start wanting those cars sold off. All right. So what we're going to do, understand then, so you have a cost of your cars, whether you know it or not. So let's say now that, or how we're going to determine the monthly gross profit, we're going to take our $60,000 car. And the monthly revenue, we want $6,000 a month. We're going to assume that you have a payment of $1,800 a month per car. Because if that car was financed through normal car rental financing, it would be $1,800 a month. And why? Because when you finance, they want the monthly payment comes in two parts. The first part is principal and the second part is interest.
Yeah.
So principal is what pays off the loan. Interest is what you're paying to get the money to buy the car. More investors are looking at this very close. All right, now on normal financing, you're going to pay 2.5% of the purchase price of the car for principal. You're going to also pay about 6% interest, which is 0.05 per month. Take the 6% divided by 12. And you put together the two, and your monthly payment is approximately 3% of the purchase price of the car. So if we went out and bought a $60,000 car, our monthly payment would be about $1,800 a month. All right. Now, this, whether you know it or not, this is right in line with what your investors are looking to get back. Okay. So anyhow, if we have our $6,000 a month in revenue, our monthly payment is $1,800. That leaves $4,200 per car per month for gross profit. So remember, that's revenue less the cost of goods sold is gross profit. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So you got to understand that. Now, out of gross profit, that's where you take out your overhead, and what's left over is profit. Okay. This is how you set up the business. Now, the important part for you, in my opinion, and I'm not prying, but I need to know to help you out here. Important part for you is to find out what the return to the investors is expected to be on this fleet. Okay, the depreciation of the cars. Now, the other thing I want you to look at is this. What is the depreciation? Of course, you understand that the cars you bought 9 months ago are not worth what you paid.
Yeah.
So what is the average depreciation on a Tesla? The depreciation on a Tesla is 12% a month, 12% a year or more. And
Okay.
depreciation in Miami is higher than that because there's a lot of them around.
Mhm.
Where you get into markets like Charlotte, the depreciation is not quite so high because there's very few around.
Mhm.
But you don't care about Charlotte, you care about Miami. So your depreciation on that car is 12% a year. So we're going to take that $60,000 car and we're going to depreciate that 12%. So what is $60,000 times 12%? That's 60,000 times 0.012. $7,200 a year is the depreciation alone on that car.
Wow.
Divided by 12, your actual car cost is $600 a month in depreciation alone that you have to cover. All right. Now you've got interest involved. Nobody is going to give you money to buy cars without some interest. They want their money back, but they want some interest back. They want some profit on that investment, right? So they're looking at about 6%. So they're going to want about another $200 a month in interest. So I'm assuming your car cost is no less than $800 a month per car. And this, I can't assume that, but I think it's something you need to look at. All right. Because the important part is you know your fleet costs so that we can triple that and get your the average rate. Okay, so anyhow. Let's say, before we go too much further, let's go back and we're going to say, okay, my depreciation and interest alone is $800 per month per car instead of the $1,800 I'm showing here. So the range you're going to work with is somewhere in the middle. but your investors have to tell you what your car cost is. So if we were lucky and the 800 is correct, that's what they want back every month, then we can set it up to be 3 times that. So 800 times 3 is 2,400. We're going to divide the 2,400 by how many rental days do you think you can actually get on a car, Andre? 18, 20, 21? What do you
Depends.
think?
20, let's do 20, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna take the 2,400 and divide it by 20. And how much do you need per day?
Mm,
2,400 that you have to have, divided by 20. You need $120 per day. All right, so what you're doing might fall in line if you understand what your true car cost is, and I think you should find out. You get me? And what's the car cost again? The car cost is nothing more than what do your investors want in return for the $1 million they put into the business. All right? If they want just profit, fine. Let's figure out what the profit's going to be. Okay? So now we know that our car cost is somewhere between 1,800 and 800 a month per car. Okay? Obviously, we should find a way to button that up a little bit, right? And I'll tell you why. If we're bringing in $2,400 per month per car, and the car cost is 800, you're bringing in what, 1,600 now per car times 24. All right, for all of the other expenses and profit. Okay, so anyhow, let's say we've got our $60,000 car. We're back on the chart. We want $6,000 a month in revenue. Our payment is $800. Our monthly gross profit is $5,200. All right, and yearly gross profit is $50,400. However, you're not going to be bringing in $6,000 per car because on your rate structure, you're bringing in 2,400. You get me? Okay, so we're kind of jumping around a little bit here, but I want you to understand this concept. I'm going to suggest at this point in time that you get that rate up. There's no reason for you to be renting a Tesla for the same price that Aunt Mabel is getting for hers to help her cover her monthly payment. And that is Turo. All right. And you're giving away 35%. Okay. All right, let's move forward. If you had 20 units, and in your case, let's say we've got 24. So we're going to take the 2,400 you're bringing in times 24. And your revenue is 57,600 in rates alone. However, we're taking out 19,200 just for depreciation and interest on the cars. And it might be higher. You're going to have to check it out. This is the lowest of the low. Okay. So you got 57 to 6. All right, minus the 19.2 means 38,400 gross profit for your fleet. All right, so 38,400 per month gross profit for the fleet times 12. All right. You're gonna
We're
bring
gonna
in,
put these numbers into a spreadsheet for you so you can play with
Yeah.
them.
you'll be bringing
Okay.
in $460,000 a year in gross profit on your 24 car fleet. Pretty nice number, sounds good. All right, you're gonna add some options. On this particular chart, we would add RCP, but you can't sell RCP there, so we won't do it. But your gross profit for your 20 car business will be at your rate structure and the car cost that we just assumed, which is very low,
Mhm.
460,000. 38.4 a month. Okay, so let's leave that at that. We're gonna come back to that in a bit. And what's the next line we're looking at? We're gonna be looking at the option sales. What are the options? All right, you can't sell the RCP. That's unfortunate. Jim's doing whatever he can to let you do that. The problem is the cost of repair for a Tesla. That is the whole issue.
Uh-huh.
Cost of repair in Miami might not be that bad because you got a lot of places to go. You got a lot of people, a lot of Teslas. But the insurance company has to insure for all 50. And you might have one Tesla in Wyoming and it's gonna cost 10 grand to fix a fender. So that's one of the problems. Let's go with authorized driver. Mr. Smith, will anyone else be driving the car? Do you charge for an additional driver?
No.
You should.
Okay.
The industry does. The risk is double when you've got 2 drivers.
Uh-huh.
When you have an authorized driver, you're entitled to charge for that risk.
Is
Okay?
it like $20 per driver?
Enterprise for a standard car is $25 a day.
Okay.
We've
Okay.
always suggested 15 for a average cookie cutter car rental startup, with Toyotas and that type of thing. But I would go at least 35 on a Tesla. I don't know, Jim, whatever you think, but on a $60,000 car, I would want $35 a day for an additional driver. Yeah. And the money's all yours. So that's additional profit. Okay, under 25, do you rent to people under 25?
Yes, and we charge 25, I think $20, 20.
20, I would get that up sky high. I would go 50. Why? Your risk is sky high. Under 25 in a Tesla that does a quarter mile in 6 seconds. That's the
Yeah.
fastest car on the
Yeah.
road. Pardon
I
me?
had a guy in Brooklyn that his under 25 driver's charge is $85 a day on a regular car.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I said to him, I said, so you don't want any under 25 drivers? He said, no, I want them. I'm the only one that'll rent to them. You're the only one that's renting Teslas there are other guys out there and gals that are renting Teslas, but if somebody's looking for a Tesla, they're going to come to you.
Mhm.
So $35 to $50 is not outrageous for an under
Oh.
25 driver.
Not
You're
at all.
charging $25 at the airport for an under 25 person to drive a Sentra.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so keep that in mind.
So
Okay.
now,
You can, and the old adage, you can always come down.
right,
Okay, can't go up, but you can always come down.
let's
Our
work
under
on,
25 driver's charge is $55, sir. Oh man, I didn't want to pay that much. I'll do it for 50.
so
Okay,
let's work on this. Let me
Yeah.
show you how we do this, Henry. If we're gonna charge authorized driver at 35, and we're gonna charge under 25 at 75, could you live with those numbers to do the math? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. How do we know, or how do we guess the value in a month of those charges? The first thing we want to look at is how many rental days do we have possibly in our fleet? You have 24 cars. You have the possibility of 30 rental days per car. How many rental days do you have in your fleet? Any
Let's,
guess?
let's do 20.
Pardon me?
Let's do 20 rentals.
720 rental day possibilities, yes, rental days. Possible, okay? I think I got that right. 24 times 30. 720. Now, let's say that in the authorized driver, we were gonna do 20% of that. 20% of those rental days would have an authorized driver charge.
that would be 144 days.
Let's assume that, okay? So we'd have 144 days at $35 a day. Would be $5,040 a month. No, yeah,
That's $60,480 at the end of the year. Go buy another Tesla.
right. $5,040 a month just in the additional driver fees, Henry.
Mhm.
All right, 60,000 a year. All by itself. All right, under 25. At $75 a day. How many do you think you're gonna get per month rental days?
A lot. Teslas.
20%, 30%? How much, what percentage of your customers do you think are about under 25?
30-40%.
How much?
30-40.
30?
30 to 40%, really? Wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
because we have some custom wrapped cars, and they look cool, and a lot of young people really want to try it.
let's go with
Okay.
30%.
That's great.
30% for fun. Okay, so 30% of 720. Is 216 days times $75 is $16,200 a month. So your option sales is the second profit center, remember? And between the additional driver and the under 25, it's worth 5,040 plus 16,200, $21,240 a month.
Now,
in
I
additional
did,
revenue.
I did your under 25 at only $50 a day. And that's another $10,800 a month.
Yeah,
So,
so let's take that. Let's take the
That's pretty
$50
serious.
a day.
yeah,
Because 75 might be intimidating to you, and that's 10,001.
$10,800 at the end of the month.
All right, so that's $15,840 a month just in those two items as your second profit center. Now, let me throw a kink into that. These should not be options, Indra. These are company policy.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing here you're selling.
Yeah.
It's just like your rate. You're not selling it. This is the rate. This is a policy. Yes, sir. We'd love you. An authorized driver. We'd love to let your brother drive it. It's only $35 a day. We'll just put that right on the contract. That's how smooth it is. Do you rent to under 25? A lot of people don't want to rent to people under 25. And if they do, there is a surcharge, and under 25 people know it. All right. So you're renting a Tesla. You're going to call. Do you rent under 25? Sure, we do. And the fee's only extra fee's only $50 a day. When do you want the car? You pass right through it. That's how you offer it. But that is your policy, not your option.
Mhm.
All right, we're running out of time. Do you want it, can we take about 15 minutes and go to the third profit center?
I think we should, if you've got time. we'll make
That's
time.
fleet sales, so we're not gonna spend a lot of time on that. All right, but I want to show you basically how it works. When you are, first thing we're going to do is figure what the profit is on the unit sales, and there's two things you have to watch. First off, how are we going to depreciate these cars for tax purposes? When you're in business, in the car rental business, you deduct the depreciation of the car from your taxes. All right, meaning that that is a tax deduction, and how do they handle it? 5-year straight line depreciation. So you want to depreciate your cars 20% per year of the purchase price of the car. And this is something you talk to your bookkeeper about, your accountant. They're going to come up with 200 different ways to do it. 199 of them are wrong. You want to depreciate the cars at 20% straight line. All right.
Okay.
So if you had a $60,000 car and you're going to depreciate this thing 20%, you're going to take depreciation of $1,200 per month per car.
Mhm.
And that's not all that far off, okay, of what they'll actually do. Now, so that means that your monthly tax depreciation is, let's see, we're going to depreciate this thing $12,000. See, 10% would be 6,000. We're going to depreciate $12,000 a year or $1,000 a month. It's depreciation that you want your tax accountant, you want your accountant to take on your fleet. 20% of the purchase price per year. All right. And that works out to 1.67% per month of the purchase price. So 60,000 times 1.67, your monthly depreciation is $1,002.
Mm.
Okay. bottom line though, your bookkeeper, your accountant can do the math. You want to take 20% excuse me, 5-year straight line depreciation.
Mhm.
Now, at the end of 12 months, you will depreciate that car 20%. So now we want to take a look at book value. What is the value of that car on your books after tax depreciation? So at the end of the first 12 months, the value of that car is 80% of what you paid for it for tax purposes, because you have written off 20% of the value of that car for tax purposes. You get me? So the point of it is, the first $12,000 of revenue that comes in is untaxed. Now, the tax stuff gets a little heavy. You want to talk to your tax people about it. All right, so now what happens is you've got a book value of 80%. Now, your payoff. What is the payoff? If you financed the car, like we talked about before, your payoff would be 70% of the purchase price of the car because you paid down 30%. On your situation, all right, you paid down, let's see if I can remember, we paid down about 824, 800 a month times 12, 100 times 12. You paid down 9,600 from 60,000.
The down payment.
You paid it down to 50,400. All right. You paid it down to 50,400. Tax allows you to take it down to 48,000. Okay. So when you go to sell the car, you want to sell it for something over your book value. And your book value at this point is $48,000
Mhm.
because you've taken a tax deduction of 12,000 off of the 60,000. All right, so your 12-month deduction is, or value is 48,000. Now, on your payoff though, you've got 50,000 because you have only made payments to your principals or depreciated your cars 800 a month. We could add another 1,200, but whatever. So you owe the principals 50,400, but your book value is 48,000. So you want to sell the car for more than your book value. All right, to generate a profit. So that car has to sell for more than $50,400.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
Now, you can take a look and what's the value of the car going to be? Maybe the value is 48. Well, then you're going to have to put it on the front line and retail it. And that's why you want to look to be a dealer. So you can buy wholesale and sell retail. Okay. But this is where you see, as we set this up for profit in the beginning, Andre, this is where you see we start running into an issue, but we see the issue in advance. The issue is, what is your monthly car cost going to be? We know what depreciation is going to be. that car is gonna depreciate 12% a year. We know that.
Yes.
And now the question is, how are the principals getting paid back and what are they charging you for the fleet?
Excuse me.
If they say nothing, then they're gonna want to take it out of profit. The profit in the country will have to be dispersed to the partners. You get me?
Now, all of this is predicated on putting the right value of the car at the end of the term. Whether
That's
it's
right.
12 months, 24 months, or 36 months. It depends on what you have done. Now, I just did a Model S with 60,000 miles on it. And a Model S with 60,000 miles on it and I picked out a 2019. So I don't know what year your car is. So I'm going to say that your car is a 21.
Mhm.
So a 19 right now is worth 44,825 retail. Okay. So that's 2 years with 60,000 miles on it.
Mhm.
So if you deduct, assuming that you can sell the car for 44 in 2 years with 60,000 miles on it, and you paid 60,000 for it, your depreciation is only 16.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's one thing they did. Now, I got something else, and I know we're short on, we're over time, but I have something else that I want to show you.
Because earlier they said it's 12%.
Is the normal?
But from 16,000, what is it? 12% a year. Depreciation in Miami especially.
This is something I wanted to show you, a luxury elite Model S Tesla, 325 a day at the airport.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna-
that's
at
the
airport.
long range S.
Huh?
That's the long range S.
Fine. But we're talking to Tesla right now.
Yeah.
Do you have the long range S?
No, we have the Plaid, but it's the same. I mean, it's the same model. It's just a different like a category.
The
Look what
point
they're
here is
charging
there's,
for the damage waiver.
Yeah.
Look what they're charging for personal accident insurance. They're
Okay.
charging for roadside assistance. Your cars probably already have roadside assistance on them.
Yeah.
They're charging $13.31 a day for supplemental liability. They're charging $6 a day for Sirius XM. I love this, $1.25 green emissions offset and $7.95 for a car seat. You guys got car seats, right?
Yep.
Okay, you got all three?
We have two of them.
Two, booster and
Boost,
base.
okay, you
facing.
need an infant, child seat and a booster. And check the
Infant.
expiration date, they have expiration dates on it.
Okay.
So long and the short of it, and I wanted you to see this so that you would understand or see what Enterprise is getting at the airport.
Mhm.
there's a long range between your 125 a day and their 325. All right,
Well-
so you gotta get those rates up, Ken.
Well, that's a different model.
Yeah, this
I know
for
that,
us.
But where do you start? In other words, what you figure out, like we just did, what is the monthly rate that you need on a particular car based on its purchase price? And
Yes,
how many
100
rental days you're gonna get and what its car cost is, right?
Yeah, 125 we charge for Model Y. And Model Y has standard range or dual motor and long range.
Okay,
For Model S, which is fast and newer, we charge, well, $800 to $1,000.
a day.
Yes, but it's not too many renters, and we are very careful with those renters. And not many people have rented yet.
What is the
Well, I can see
difference?
why.
in-
But, excuse me, you didn't mention earlier that you had S.
We have the S Plaid.
All I heard was that you have Y.
We mentioned,
Three.
I was saying that we have like 21 Model Y and one S Plaid, but maybe, no, I remember I mentioned, because you asked me and you said not the interior, but the models. And I said it's Model Y
Yeah.
and one S Plaid for now.
Okay,
So if
So-
you have a car that you want $1,000 a day for, or $800 a day, and it just sits and nobody wants to rent it,
well, they were talking about selling that one anyway.
but why not bring the rate down to 300 a day or 400 a day and rent it and market it?
Now, the reason I wanted you to see this is I'm a consumer. I know nothing about Tesla. And I'm going to Miami and I want to rent a Tesla. I don't know the difference between an S and a Y and an X and a B and an L. All I know, it says Tesla and it's electric and I want to drive it. Okay. Well, when we did the exercise for you on rates, we came up with $285
Mhm.
based on a $60,000 car. We came up with a $285 rate. So the Tesla that you have is what model?
Why?
The Y?
Ys, yeah,
Okay,
mostly Ys.
okay. So that $285 is in the ballpark.
Absolutely.
That's in the ballpark. You can ask up to two, you can always come down. And the reason we're showing you this is to get the return on investment that you need. Tomorrow, we're gonna work, or next time we get together, we're gonna be working on return on investment on your 24 cars. And David and I are gonna need two things from you between now and the next time we get together. Your list of cars with what you paid for them. And don't worry, it's confidential. We don't share this with anybody. A list of cars that you have in inventory and what you paid for them. We're going to assume that you bought them all in January. Okay. And then we're going to set up depreciation on those cars. Now, if you have 20 Model Y and 4 Model X, then give us that information.
Mhm.
And we're going to create the spreadsheet that we have as part of this. We're going to create it for you. And it's going to show what you should be doing with formulas for the rates. And we'll compare it to what you're doing now. Okay. And we're going to get together. When's the next time we get together here? Let me bring up the thing here. I think it's Tuesday, isn't it?
I haven't had it scheduled yet. Monday, we've got Ariel. I don't have anything after Monday.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
My Outlook won't open, but I'm pretty sure. Hang on a second here. Okay, I had to shut it down. I don't know why. Yeah, we have 10 o'clock on the 28th.
Okay,
And we have Friday, the 1st.
mhm.
Okay. So Tuesday, the 28th and Friday, the 1st at 10 o'clock.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The 28th?
Yeah. The 28th, Tuesday morning.
And next,
Is October 1st.
okay, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Okay,
So, and if you could send us
Yeah,
the
just-
cover for your insurance so we can explain it to you. Okay?
Yes,
And if you could send me an inventory list. Okay? And then we're gonna set up a spreadsheet for you that you can use. And then you can plug in your own numbers with that spreadsheet.
okay,
And you'll be able to go in and say, okay, well, if we do 125 a month or 125 a day at 21 days, what's that gonna give us? If we do 275 a day for 21 days, what's that gonna give us? You probably already have that. But we're gonna do it based on $6,000 a month. Okay?
mhm.
We used to rent the cars at 200 a day and it was good,
Uh,
but I don't know, recently it's been hard to get that.
I don't know if you can see your screen.
Yeah.
Or if you can see my calendar. Those are
Yes.
all Jewish holidays. And you're in Miami. Huge Jewish population. And they don't do anything during these holidays. The month of September in Florida is kind of a transitional month. Every year, you're gonna see September is gonna be dead.
It's been that way for a couple months. I remember in March, April, we used to get 200 per day.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah. And you should be getting that now. Because I just showed you that Enterprise is getting 325. And it's yeah, it's a different model, but it's still Tesla.
Yeah.
And so at 190 to 235 a day, plus your additional driver's charges and so on, you're not far off. And we're going to get you away from Turo. Remember the prices on Turo. You guys were using Turo, right?
Yeah, we still are.
Okay.
That's horrible.
The prices on Turo, the people that are on there are just trying to make their payment. So they'll take a car that we just went through this exercise that should be bringing $285 a day. Well, their monthly payment on that $60,000 car is probably $1,000.
Oh, over that, yeah.
So they're saying, hey, this will work if I can rent it out for $150 a day for 5 days. That pays half my payment.
Mhm.
That's really what Turo is. It's people trying to make their payments
That's all it is.
on higher price cars.
Yeah.
It's not something that works for a rental car platform.
It's never intended to be a business.
Right. And going forward, you want to use Turo, but only for a few cars.
To get the information out.
Yes, I would, and take the year of the car off. And and the model is fine. And the numbers, you know, you can put in your numbers. And just
Yeah, we
remember,
have our phone number. Somebody actually just called me and said, I saw you on Turo, but I thought it would be better to rent with you.
bingo,
Yeah,
bingo. So that's a good deal. So yeah, I recommend Turo to keep extra cars busy. We got to get you busy through other portals. And I'm going to send you that stuff on Express Rent-A-Car and Kayak, and we'll get you on Kayak, which would be huge.
yeah.
Okay. So been a good couple of days. We went overtime almost a half hour today. But that's okay. We got a lot done. And we're going to get together on Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock. Same time, same station, boys and girls. Keep those cards and letters coming. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, but that's what Howdy Doody used to say when I was little, watching black and white TV that was about this big. And he would say, boys and girls, keep those cards and letters coming. Thank you. And I'll see you
Thank you.
guys on Tuesday.
Bye. Have a good
And I
weekend.
want a stack of questions. Everybody's got homework. I want you to give me 5 questions.
Okay,
Done. Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.